Hello, welcome. I am so excited to talk to you today. I am Christopher of Universal MD. So yeah, we changed from IMG over to Universal MD. In this video, I bring you good tidings. So this is a video to share with you my story on how I match. But before I go deep into that, I'm just gonna bring you right here on my screen to share my experience on how it actually happened that day. It was really hilarious. It was funny. It was mixed with emotions. I was at a time in Edmonton, but I had just come back from work. And so yeah, take a look at it for yourself. I'm so scared. I even left the hospital just running like this because I had to come and check on this thing. My gosh. The moment of truth is here. Let's see. Let's check whether we would match or not. Let's see whether we would match. Calgary. Oh God. Let me see. Match result. We matched! We matched! Yes! Yes! Yes, we matched. Internal medicine Calgary. We matched. We matched. We matched. Yes, the journey is over. We matched. Internal medicine Calgary. Number one choice. Number one location. Woo! Mon Dieu. We matched. Like when I look at it right now, I feel like it was just a dream come true with whatever it was, but it was so funny. But anyhow, that was the whole thing of the match. So I'm an incoming R1 internal medicine at the University of Calgary. We all know how Calgary is in terms of competitiveness and in terms of being one of the strongholds for MTU. So I'm so excited and happy about that. Very humbled, ready to learn. And I want to thank everyone that has supported me through this journey. I want to thank all my friends. CaRMS is a very exciting period for those who are looking at matching in Canada. It's no other experience unless you live, you cannot really tell. It's a very unique experience that you actually get after you get into the system. But however, I am so excited and happy to share with you my strategies. And I want to say I was one of the international medical graduates who had the highest number of invites that any other IMG has really ever had. I mean, until proven otherwise, maybe there's some other people who've had such overwhelming amounts of invites for interview and then any of matching in their first choices. Of course, don't just hear me out. No strings attached, no bad intentions. So I'm so happy to have had a lot of invites and it was really an opportunity. I wouldn't say it was because I studied so hard or was the smartest person. I'll just say it was really two things: the grace of God and really working hard, believing in myself. So that's really what you got to do in terms of believe and pray to your God and really work hard, grind as if that was the last thing that you had in this world, and for sure you would definitely make it. It's so competitive. There are fewer sports, so definitely the stakes are high. You need to put in a lot of effort. So enough of this blah blah, let's get right into it. So applying for the CaRMS, this was my very first time applying for the CaRMS. I had not applied before. I can just share with you in short about a few things that made my application really stand out. But again, I've done a webinar on that and you can check on the webinar right here where you will see this information I did share. But what I really wanted to say here is that the first thing is a CaRMS is almost like a salad. You know how a salad is? Sometimes your mayonnaise is not always the same quantity as your sugar. It's not always the same quantity as your virgin olive oil or a cabbage or a boiled egg. You know, all these things, you put them in your salad in different proportions just so that you can have like a fantastic salad, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that CaRMS is a combination of your scores, your personal statements, the quality of the reference letters that you get, your lived experiences, how you tell your story, and how you then present your CV, how you sell yourself. It's essentially marketing. Once you're at that level, it's marketing. Are you a good salesperson for yourself or you're not? And so knowing how to be a good salesperson for yourself is really, really important. Talking really highly about yourself without coming through as someone who is proud, who is trying to show that they know a lot, because of course they're taking you into residency to be a trainee. So you're going to be at the level of a PGY1, equivalent of a Canadian graduate who is just leaving medical school into residency. They don't really care if you've had a specialty degree from your home country. I mean, it might help and contribute to your overall CV, but it's not the unique determining factor. A lot of IMGs are complex in terms of, oh, I'm a specialist, I was a cardiologist in my country, but now here, you know, I have to do survival job. Sad reality, they format everything. So take yourself to that level, be humble, work yourself back up the ladder. You're capable of doing it because you've done it before. It's just like a redo, but in a brand new settings with different challenges that you just have to face. So I'll say things that really put you aside are paying attention on this one. And I always say that there's no reason for you to be lamenting over something. Why? Because can you fix it? Yes, then fix it and move on. Can you not fix it? All right, then ask yourself, How can I do to fix it? Is it possible for me to fix it? No. Okay, then don't complain or worry about it. Can't do it, let it be. If you can't, all right, can I ask someone who can help me? Yeah, so then why complain? Just ask someone who can help you. And 1, 2, 3 people might reject you, but maybe number 4 will say yes. 50 people might reject you, but maybe number 51 person is gonna say yes. So don't stop unless you get it. Unless it is impossible, absolutely impossible to not get it, that's the only time when you stop. So we know that of course you can get it. So keep fighting. Stop complaining. Stop saying that the opportunities are limited for IMGs. Stop saying it is difficult. Stop saying the system is biased. Force your way in. And as y'all know me, I've always said that if you want to succeed and you really want to be where decisions are made that will change your life and your course forever, then you have to be seated on the table where the decisions are made. So let's work together as all IMGs to be seated on those tables where decisions are made concerning IMGs in order to make the changes that we want to see happen in the IMGs communities. Other than that, let's go back to CaRMS. So the things that made my personal statement stand out, I'll talk about personal statements first because it's a really big one. It's how you tell your stories, how you tell who really you are by answering the questions that are asked in the program description. I see a lot of people tell a lot of stories in a very horrible way. Honestly, I've had the opportunity of reading a lot of people who review their stuff, but come to think about it, when I read some of this stuff, oh my god. So you need to really take time and write. Writing is not easy. If not, everyone will be a writer. That's why there is not a bazillion books that are published out there. But you might have your idea about you might have your lived experience in you, but to put it down into a story that is compelling and that is also convincing in a way that someone like a program director wants to talk to you, it's not easy. It's tough. It's difficult. It takes hours, days, weeks, months, maybe even years. So what I'm trying to say is that write your personal statement in a convincing way. And the only way for you to do that is to show and not tell. A lot of people tell their story and they don't show their stories. Take an example. Someone will say, I graduated out of medical school from Nigeria. I was the best in my school and I graduated from one of the best schools in Nigeria, which is the University of Ibadan. I got the President's Academic Scholarship and then I moved forward to go to Dubai. I worked there for 3 years and then after Dubai, I won the best physician and the most assiduous doctor in Dubai. And then after Canada, I started working as a research assistant and then I wrote my MCCQE and passed, which took me about 6 months because I had families to take care of. And now I'm applying for residency. I'm so excited about it because the residency program is good and you guys teach candidates very well. And now I'm here now, passed all my exams. I had the best scores and I want to be in your programs. Absolute BS. All right, absolute BS. No one is gonna care. It's gonna be like, all right, thanks for telling us that. Bye. See you next time. So don't tell your story that way. Show what you've done. And again, if people are really interested in knowing how to show and get a sense of what it is, you can chat with a few people that I work with, and also you can book an appointment right here on our website and I can be able to go through your stuff and we can have a deep chat. Of course, it's you telling your story. I can't possibly, not even if I'm a wizard, be able to tell your story the way you would normally tell it because you lived it. I can guide you is make it really good, palatable for someone to actually understand it. So we got to work together. So the first thing is your personal statement. That is a deal breaker. If you miss your personal statement, if you have the best scores, I talked with a couple of candidates who had top tier scores in both the NACOSKI and the QE1, but one of them got only one interview for Ontario, which is what they use the filters, and scores are usually one of the criteria for the filters. But every other program they applied for where they actually went, sat down and reviewed all their documents, including the scores, they were not invited. And they applied for maybe almost 30 to 40 programs. So please show, don't tell for your personal statements. All right, moving on. Number 2 is your CV. 4 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages, 7 pages. Who cares? But think about it for yourself. If you're the one who is actually reviewing a candidate CV, and you see some guy writing a bazillion things and their CV is 10 pages and they've worked in 10 different clinics. They took history and physical exams. They did a couple of procedures like, speculum exam, pap smear, paracentesis, maybe placing a central IV line, whatever they did. And then they are telling you a bazillion time. So in clinic A in Ontario, Sudbury, I took patient history. I helped them, counsel them, follow up with them and discharge them. And then after they moved to Alberta in Calgary, Foothills, I took history, physical exams, counsel patients, send them home. And then they moved now to Winnipeg. And then again, I took history. You're just redundant. You're just saying the same thing that you've done over and over and over. As a physician, that's your duty. You're supposed to clock patient, take history, do a thorough physical exams, document it, prescribe, discharge. A one-liner is enough for all of these. You don't have to repeat the same thing over and over just to show that that's what you did. And that's a problem. That's one of the things I see in people's CV. You see a 10-page CV, but you chop it down to 3 pages because again, every other thing is fluff and repetition. It is not clear. They're using different font size. It is not beautiful and appealing to the eye to read. It is confusing. The dates are inconsistent. It's not aligned. They're using, different date formats. Someone will use a numerical and then somewhere down there you'll see the spelling the entire month or half of the month. And then some will use exact dates and then after they just use month and then after they just use years and months. All of this mixture takes away every little beauty that your CV could portray and put together in front of someone who is reviewing your file. They have all these things. Of course, a doctor is also supposed to be grammatically correct. You see lots of grammatical errors. You're supposed to fact check this thing and make sure it's almost near perfect. I mean, there's no one who is perfect, but you have to do more than a good job. You have to be the best. You stand out. Be that person who every person that review your file is like, I want to talk to this candidate because I feel like it's gonna be a lot. And the next thing is your CaRMS online application. So the way it happens is that some programs do not review your CV, they just review your CaRMS application. Some programs don't review your CaRMS application, they just review your CV, personal statements, and whatever additional documents you give to them. And others view a combination of all of them. Again, some programs are open about these things, some are not. This is a factor that you can't really control. So what you can do on your own part to stand out is complete everything to the best of your ability. Have it fact check, have someone look at it, because they always say a fresh pair of eyes is always better than your tired eyes. Have you ever had an idea in your head and you think you've written it down exactly as in your head and you're reading it and you keep reading it right, but what you're written is wrong, until someone besides you say, hey dude, there is no mechanical on what you're reading, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, and then there was no mechanical actually, but because you have it in your head, that is really what is in your head. It happens a lot. I've seen this on the few applications that I read and corrected, and on my own application as well when I gave others to correct for me. So again, you want to really have someone check, and ideally someone who has the experience. This is really important. So completing all documentations correctly, accurately, putting the information just as they want it, easily readable, concise, it'll really be good. And on my second video, what I'm going to do, where I'll go with you through the website, I'll actually go with you through my live application, and you're going to see all of these things. The next thing is, I want to really say that you need to work hard with preceptors and tell them how your letters should be. I mean, your letters of recommendation. This is way important. I cannot overemphasize this. This is paramount, capital. Again, it's compulsory. You must submit 3 obligatory recommendation letters, and please read the program description. Some programs want you to submit letters, say you're applying into general surgery. Some programs warn that the letters of recommendation should come only from a general surgeon or someone in the field of general surgery, nothing more, which means an internist cannot submit you a letter, it will be rejected. A family physician cannot submit you a letter, it will be rejected. Some programs want letters only from family medicine physicians. Some programs want letters only from physicians from Canada. Some programs don't really care, but for the most part, most programs wouldn't be so precise. Some programs, when they are precise, they will let you know in the program description. If they are not precise, try as much as possible to get letters from those who know you well and can talk to your clinical skills, or if they cannot really talk to your clinical skills, they can talk really in a very good way about your other soft skills, like your communication, your assiduity, overall manners, your overall personality as a human, coachability. Are you someone who is likable and who people can work with easily? So all these different things are things that you want that person to make mention. Again, there's usually canvas, and there is sometimes programs who tell you exactly what they want your preceptor or your doctor who is recommending you to write. Please follow that as much as possible. If you're getting letters from back home, call that person. Make sure you give as much detail to them as possible, and make sure that they are providing the letter exactly following the format that CaRMS or the program has requested. This is really very important. For my case, when most of my letters did not come from Canada, because I had less experience in terms of clinical world from Canada just to let you know that letters from anywhere and any part of the world actually works. It has to be a good letter though. It doesn't have to be the generic letters that sometimes people from different countries will just give because they are not accustomed to the Canadian system. The Canadian system, they really want more than in-depth. They want more than, he usually showed up very early for work, he was never late. They want more than that. Okay, they want to see that you build rapport, had a connection with this person, you know this person inside out. So if you're getting a letter from someone, that should be the kind of person you should be getting letters from, and not just anybody. So this is really important. And then the last, and I would say the most important one, which is almost usually 50% of the entire thing, is once you finally get an interview, you have to, like, that is the only opportunity. Usually there is about 5 spots. For instance, say for my program there were 5 spots, and they're interviewing, and maybe they receive almost 500 to 5,000 applications, and they are taking about 50 people for interviews, and they'll end up retaining only 5. Or they're taking somewhere between 25 to 50 people at least, and they'll end up retaining 5. The ratio is usually, for every 1 spot, they're interviewing 5 different people. So again, just imagine how that competition is. Your chances of matching are 1/5, which means it's very competitive. You need to stand out even till the end. It's competitive, because I'm talking this 1/5 are everyone who have reviewed, they've been filtered, they're good, they have reached, and they've been given an invite, which means they had a good score, or however their scores were accepted, their personal statement was good, their CV was good, and there they are at a level where they are interviewing for the program. And so that's where you really gotta stand out. You gotta show your skills in terms of communication, body language, gestures that matter, humbleness, but selling yourself. Like, have you ever seen a good salesperson? This is a time where you really have to sell yourself. Do an introduction of yourself and be consistent. Start from when you were small. Pick a starting point till present. All right. I see people start from, all right, now I'm working as an associate physician. But back in medical school, when I finished, I started working as a physician. And then I did research for some time. But again, during medical school, I got a scholarship as a best. This is so haphazard, so disorganized. You would not be a candidate. You would not even be ranked somewhere, perhaps. So please make sure that you're consistent with your story, following a pattern, and you're taking the people interviewing you from a point A to a point B, which is consistent, logical, and it makes sense for them and for their program. You should do your due diligence. Read about the program, read about those who are going to interview you, ask questions, chat, join town halls. These are real things that are important. A lot of people do not even know that there are town halls. There are usually town hall on CanPrep, and you can join and register for some of these meetings. Once the time for a residency and interviews start coming, you find town hall meetings, join those interviews, meet the residents, meet the different program directors, show your face, start asking questions, get a feel about how they do things and how they win things, and then things are gonna go well. I remember interviewing for several programs, including the University of Toronto, internal medicine, and after that, the conversation was so deep, and my preceptors and those who were interviewing me, they really felt like, oh, this guy had some in-depth substance, in a way that they were very pleased, and they thought, once you're around, we're able and we'll be happy to work with you. So you don't want to miss that. You want to talk, you want to do the best. But anyways, these are some of the things that I went through in terms of matching, and now today I'm so happy to be in the program that I am, because it's been my best program. I particularly really like the University of Calgary because there was no return of service clause. It was a deal breaker and a very important clause for me. It's an IMG. So please make sure you do your due diligence, but we're happy to help. If you need any support and any help, please, you want to click in the description below, go to our website of University MD. One of the people that work with us will be able to get back to you. But until then, yeah, thank you so much and peace.